I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, Doctor.
Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon, is brought to you by GoToMeeting with HD Faces. Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time for another Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon, Netcast. Yes! And this week we have stuff as usual, but we have really cool stuff. Not that we don't usually have really cool stuff, but this week we've got some really cool stuff. Haha! So, stay tuned, as they used to say on the old Batman show. Same bat time, same bat channel. Ha! We have nothing to do with bats here, but we do have everything to do with tech. Yes. So, it's a good time to say that we are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network. TechPodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Indeed. So, I've got some things to talk about in the sense of housekeeping kinds of things. We just added a new feature to the Dr. Bill website, okay? And of course that is drbill.tv, as it says here on the screen. Now, that website has a new feature, as I just mentioned, that allows you to see right at the top of the page, right at the bottom of the header of the screen, a new string of things that will allow you to subscribe to all of our social networky subscribey things. Yes, it's just such a technical thing. Anyway, rather than me talk about it, let me show you something. There you go. You see the red arrow pointing to it? That's it. Not the red arrow. The thing the red arrow is pointing to. Yes. That is actually a creation of Daniel J. Lewis, who is one of our Tech Podcast Network podcasters. And he has many cool podcasts, including the Audacity to Podcast, where he talks about the Audacity editor, which, hey, we all use if we're editing audio because it's open source and cool. It's been a Geek Software of the Week for many years. All the years that we've been on, I suspect. At any rate, also, he has the Once podcast, which is about the TV show Once Upon a Time, of which I am a fan, and I'm also a fan of his podcast that talks about Once Upon a Time. Yes. And many other. He has other podcasts that are just as cool and interesting, which include things like the Christian humor podcast that he has, and all kinds of other things. So cool stuff, you know? And I think he has a Christian review site, and then he has a clean humor site thing. I'm confusing them. Sorry about that, Daniel. Anyway, cool stuff. Just go check out his sites. Okay. Now, I saw the kitty go by back there. Somebody said we need to see more of the kitty. We do. She's always getting into things. She's been doing that a lot lately. Anyway, I am digressing badly. Let's look into the blog, shall we? The aforementioned drbill.tv blog. Our first item for this week is WordPress celebrates 10 years of service. Now, WordPress is what my blog/website is based on. Matter of fact, most of the websites that I work with a few exceptions, are based on WordPress, because WordPress is an awesome platform for pontificating and blogging and doing things of that nature. There's thousands and thousands of plugins, and it's just cool. Okay? I don't know how many millions. Well, it says here in the article, 70 million websites run WordPress. Whoa. That's a lot of websites. Probably if you started trying to look at all of them, it would take you probably a lifetime. Some of them you probably wouldn't want to look at, if you know what I mean. But there are quite a few that are worthy to look at, and I encourage you to check out WordPress if you are looking into blogging. Yes, WordPress has a site where you can do free blogging. Also, you can download the software and install it on your own server, which is what I do. And it's cool. Okay. All right, next item, new version of Opera browser launches. Now, Opera's cool, and I use it for testing. It's certainly a very good browser, no question. But I use Chrome, okay, for everything. And as a matter of fact, I'm so into Chrome that I have kind of neglected some of my testing of the website, particularly drbill.tv, on other browsers, and come to find out that those of you that were using Firefox, there was a few little things that were off, and I fixed those now. Did that this morning because I didn't know they were there. I just never get around to using any other browser, and I certainly don't use Internet Explorer. Ew. No one in their right mind should be using Internet Explorer, particularly since Internet Explorer 10, here it comes. Yeah, you're right, Fred. I'm not going to miss an opportunity. Internet Explorer 10 does not support cloud-based video for HTML5. Take that, Microsoft. Yeah. Anyway, yeesh. So, a new version of Opera browser launched, and it is the next browser for Windows and Mac. It is dubbed Opera Next 15, built from scratch with a refreshed design and a slew of new features for better browsing experience. Blah, blah, blah. That's hard to say. Anyway, under the hood, Opera has swapped out its own Presto rendering engine for the, wait for it, Chromium engine from Google. They swapped out their own engine to use Chromium from Google. Kind of makes you wonder, why not just use Chrome? Know what I'm saying? I know all you Opera fans out there, and I don't mean the kind that go watch the fat lady sing, but the Opera browser fans are probably all saying, sorry, I had this little, it wasn't really a frog, it's more of a hoppy toad. But anyway, in my throat. No, I really don't. It's just a saying. It's a southern saying. Particularly about the hoppy toads. Anyway. Where was I going with all that? Oh, yeah. Opera browser. All the Opera browser folks are probably going, what? What? Opera rocks. Well, okay. You stick with your browser, I'll stick with my browser. But let me get something down here. Evil laugh time. Because of something I have in my hand. Yes, this is a new Nexus 10. Oops. Oh, that was interesting. Hold on just a minute. Where'd it go? There it is. The keyboard. Disconnectified. I didn't know it would do that. How cool. That's actually kind of cool. That's a whole new discovery. Yes. Anyway, it's a Nexus 10 tablet with a keyboard built into the case. I know I say built in. It turns out it's not built in. It comes off. Which is really handy because you could, like use it detached like that if you didn't want to keep it in the case. Leave it to the doctor to have a discovery occur right in the middle of a show. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me take it out of the case and put the case over here. Okay, there it is. It's all shiny. And here is the back where it says Nexus built by Samsung. And it's got that kind of rubbery texture. Yes, makes it easy to hold. Okay? So, dude, I have been severely geeking out. You notice it says Google there because Nexus, and there's a little Nexus logo symbol. Too many shinies. Let's see if I can get rid of the shinies. There we go. Well, kind of did. So anyway, it will do the little Nexus logo and then finally come up with the screen. There it is. Ooh, it shows that it's 11:26 on a Saturday morning. And it made a cool sound to let me know I had email. So, there it is. Oh, there's the shiny again. Let me turn it just sideways a bit. Get rid of the shiny. See all kinds of little icons and things of that nature. Okay? But it is cool. And I've got Frozen Bubble installed. So we're good. As well as Angry Birds and Revision 3 and Skype and Twit and Blueberry and the Kindle Reader and Cadre Bible and email and Amazon MP3 to play my Amazon Musicality. Yes. Dude. The reason I got off talking about this is not only because I'm really jazzed about it, but it is, of course, by Google, and it has a Google web browser built into it, and I have become fully Googleized. I was even telling a buddy of mine at work who really hates Google that I had been thoroughly Googleized, and he went, "It's the mark of the beast, I tell you." He's a bit odd. Anyway, he's fully Microsoft-ized. He uses, let me tell you how bad it is. Okay, you ready for how bad it is? He uses Internet Explorer on purpose. And he uses Bing. Just saying, okay? Anyway, I'm sure you'd say, well, you use Google Chrome and go to Google Sites. Yeah. To each his own, you know what I'm saying? Okay, anyway, I'll put this aside because if I hold on to it long enough, I'll start playing with it. And then you'll be sitting there going, what's he doing? He's just staring at a tablet. That would be bad. Okay, so that's cool. All right, let's talk about our good friends at Citrix Systems and GoToMeeting. Now, you know we've been talking about GoToMeeting for quite some time. You've probably been, seeing me talk about it and go, oh, Dr. Bill, here we go again. Wait a minute. We're talking about an awesome deal here. 30 days free for GoToMeeting. Now, look, you make decisions all the time in meetings, and sometimes it's hard to get everybody together in one room. You know what I'm saying? People are traveling. People are running around doing all kinds of things. We're part of a new health system with UNC Healthcare at our, where I work at High Point Regional. We got lots of meetings there in Chapel Hill. We're in High Point. There's just a lot of stuff going on. So when you have to have a meeting, video conferencing is a good way to do it. And GoToMeeting allows that kind of video conferencing easily and inexpensively. So all you have to do for this 30-day free trial to be able to test it out for 30 days free is use this special code word podcast, as it says here on the lower third banner. Go to gotomeeting.com, click on try it now, and enter the code word podcast for a 30-day free trial. I'm telling you, meeting is believing. By the way, we're going to have an interesting, well, never mind. I'll talk about that in a bit. Almost got ahead of myself. I do that sometimes. Yes. What can I talk about that? Let me say this. about that. I'm going to have a handheld hack episode, which is another podcast that I do, where I will be comparing the Nexus 10 with the iPad by Apple with a buddy of mine, Chucky Daniel. He's coming down today, and we're going to geek out. Yes. So it's going to be fun. So stay tuned for that whenever that airs. It's going to be interesting and odd. Okay, now, next item. Are you a Luddite? Some of you going, what's a Luddite? Are you calling me names, Dr. Bill? No. A Luddite's a real word. You can look it up in Merriam-Webster's dictionary, where it says a Luddite is one who is opposed to, especially, technological change. Yes, Luddites tend to not favor change at all, but particularly technological change. There are people who still use modems. Know what I'm saying? I very seriously doubt any of you out there that watch the Dr. Bill Show are Luddites. I certainly am not. But what are some of the things that are still in use from the 20th century? By the way, in case you don't know, we're in the 21st. But what's some 20th century things that are still in use out there? Dial-up internet. I know you're going, what? Yes. 4% of American adults still use dial-up internet to go online. The secret's to bang the rocks together, guys. Okay. Ew. I mean, most of us have even forgotten the noise. Some of us remember it a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. It's the geezer in me. Pagers. In the early 90s, there was no greater status symbol than a pager. If you carried a beeper, that meant that like a trauma surgeon or a Fortune 500 CEO, you were important enough to have to be reachable at all times. Yes. Now somebody sees you with a pager, they're going, hey, I remember those. I used to use those when I was a little kid. No. It's old. Get rid of it. I know it's sad, but we actually have to use a pager because when I'm on call from work, they gave us a pager. It's always embarrassing. You're walking around with a pager and people are going, oh, look at the old guy with the pager. Ew. Anyway, dot matrix printers. Yes, there are still people that use dot matrix printers. I'm sorry, but that's just silly. Anyway, PDAs. I can remember when PDAs came in and went out. It was the same week. Yeesh. Payphones. Now, if you're Superman, you're kind of scratching your head going, where are my payphones? I can't change into my costume. Fortunately, Superman learned that he can move at incredible speeds and can change without anybody even seeing him. So that's good. There you go. But payphones? Why would anybody need a payphone in 2013? Even low-income people can get a payphone from the government. That's G-U-B-M-E-N-T, government. Let's not go there. Okay, 13 million blank VHS and cassette tapes. We're talking in 2013, people. There are 13 million blank cassettes and VHS tapes sold in America in 2012. Why? Anyway, Luddites. Landline phones. That's phones that are not like my cell phone here. See, no wires. No wires. But people still have them. CRT TVs. That's number 8. CRT TVs. Those are the big, heavy glass things instead of the pretty flat screens. And number 9, 35 million folks, million rolls of film. Film. F-I-L-M, film. No, it's film. I know that because I used to be a photographer. I used to be a photographer back in the day. Professionally, yes. Even went to school for it. Got a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, painting, printmaking, and photography. And then started a photography business and took pictures of kids at school and weddings and things of that nature. Don't really miss that. I can honestly say. I had Nikons and Pentax and plural and a dark room, fully outfitted dark room, and I used chemicals and played with them. I'm not as bad as my buddy that used to borrow my dark room and use it. He would determine if the chemicals were still good by tasting it. No, thank you. And he's still around, actually. Surprisingly so. Anyway, here's a good one. Number 10, Windows 98 and Windows 2000. Think about it. Windows 98 came out in 1998. It's now 2013, folks. You need another operating system. And if you've got a machine that'll only run 98, just go ahead and get Linux Mint. It's much better, much more powerful, and will run faster than 98 on that machine, most likely. And if you're not going to upgrade a machine to where it'll run a real Windows operating system, just go ahead and get Linux, okay? Number 11, this is a pet peeve, fax machines. Okay, so now let me get this straight. It's not real until it's on a piece of paper, so you're going to fax it to somebody electronically, and then the machine's going to convert it into a very scratchy, out-of-focus, fuzzy piece of paper. And then it's real. Why not just send it electronically, like as an attachment to an email and as a PDF, and be done with it? And it'll be clear and sharp, and they can print it if they want it, or they can just file the electronic version and not burn up any trees. Anyway, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. It just came into my head. Actually, I'm not the Lorax. I'm not short or orange. I am hairy, but that's another story. Anyway, finally, number 12, vinyl records. Now, here's the thing about vinyl records. There are people that say that they think things sound better on vinyl. No, they pop and have hissing noises and have all kinds of background stuff going on. Now, I know that an MP3 doesn't have the dynamic range of, a typical MP3 that's like 128 kilobits and all that kind of stuff. I understand that, but at least it doesn't have pops and cracks and hisses and stuff going on. Come on, people. And you can get MP3s that have higher levels. Oh, stuff. So you can go that route. Or you can get a FLAC file or some other file that's fully, actually non-compressed. Anyway, personally, maybe it's my geezerness showing, but I can't hear the difference between a regular old MP3 and a super cosmic, high-level, uncompressed file. Oh, well. Anyway. So, whoa! Thank you, Fred. Fred's like, enough of this old Luddite stuff. Let's move on. Okay. Geek Software of the Week. Since he did the Geek Software of the Week drum roll, this Geek Software of the Week is awesome. Matter of fact, in the article I said awesome, awesome, awesome. That's 3 awesomes. Dude. Now you can't get better than 3 awesomes, I'm pretty sure. So here's the thing. This Geek Software of the Week, by the way, is called Synergy. Synergy. Yes. Well, it's awesome. Now, I talked about my tablet earlier. As a segue, trying to get better at segues, as a segue into the fact that I use the camera, the amazing high-def video camera on the tablet to record some stuff at work of me using Synergy. Now you got to keep in mind something as you watch this video. First, I'm holding the tablet in my hand, so it's going all over the place. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't have a tripod, and even if I had a tripod, how are you going to hook a tripod to a tablet? Know what I'm saying? Some things just weren't meant to be. Now, I know somebody's going to say, yeah, Dr. Bill, they make these little clamper things that clamp it and put it on a tripod. Okay, yes, I know about those. Trying to make a joke, folks. Boy, anyway. I know you say you don't have to make a joke. You are a joke. I'm well fully on you. The voices, they keep telling me these things. Anyway, hold on. Synergy. So the video's a little jerky, and the audio's probably not going to be as good as with the super cool microphone, but it's still awesome. So let's look at how Synergy works for me at work. But before we do, I want to mention this one thing, and that is the main monitor in front of me is not just a monitor, it's a Samsung thin client terminal that's connected to a view session. So I want you to remember that this Synergy IP KVM that we're about to see is doing the keyboard, video, and mouse. Well, keyboard and mouse, not the video. I got another email. It beeped at me. Anyway, I'm just so thrilled with the tablet. Anyway, the point is that the lower monitor there that you're about to see is really a terminal with the session running on a computer in the data center, okay? And then when I move the mouse up to the upper screen in the video you're about to see, I'm actually on a local PC. The local PC set up at the server, the screen, and the lower screen is actually a terminal. And yet it works very, very well. So let's watch this video right now. Okay, I don't know if you can see this clearly, but as you can see at the office, I've got all kinds of monitors set up. And the lower one there that has VMware on it, I don't know if you can see the mouse, but at any rate, that, I'll try to move it around on the screen so you can see there's activity. That is a terminal, Samsung terminal, that is running VMware View. The monitor off to the side is actually a secondary monitor coming off that terminal. So my view session has 2 monitors already. Then up here we have a monitor that is coming off of the physical PC that I have over here. Okay? Now that physical PC is running that monitor. The problem is, I don't know if you can see it, it's probably hard to see, but right below the monitor there to your left is a little box that's a KVM. Okay, that KVM allows me to switch between the monitors. Now, this is the situation that my software, Synergy KVM software, allows me to switch between the monitors without having to do anything other than move my mouse up to the upper monitor and down to the lower monitor. How cool is that? So there you go. That's how it works. Pretty slick. By the way, the upper monitor is running the server side, the lower one running the client side. Okay, so how cool was that? That's the whole idea about Synergy. It's supported on Windows, it's supported on Mac, it's supported on Linux, so you can actually run your cursor between different screens, and they'll all be the same cursor using the same keyboard and mouse. Dude, simply move your mouse to any computer and start typing. Copy and paste between all your computers, no matter what operating system. What? What? That came in real handy for me this week, as a matter of fact, copying and pasting between computers. Dude. Encryption, now this is the cool thing. The path of the data is fully encrypted, so nobody can see your keystrokes and find out your passwords. That's a good thing, indeed. It also saves space on your desktop, as you saw in my video there of my office. I have a lot of monitors, lots of stuff going on all the time. And all you need is a network connection. You don't need any extra cables, any extra hardware. All happens across the internet. Not the internet. I started to say the interwebs, and I corrected myself there, but then I said internet. I meant network. It's obviously a local network. My brain tried to correct me in time, but then it kind of fell short. Sorry. And Synergy is free and open source and always will be. I like that little addition he puts at the end. It always will be. There isn't like a pro version and a non-pro version. It's just open source, pure and simple, for goodness. Yes. Anything else I want to say about it besides the fact that it's awesome? It doesn't do the cursor between me and the tablet, although if they had one that would install on an Android tablet, I'd probably do that. That's just the kind of guy I am. You know what I'm saying? By the way, if you see the video shaking slightly, it's because when I use the mouse, it kind of shakes the table and makes it rattle. So if you're sitting there going, you'll know why. I'm going to work on tying it down better in the future. Because I imagine it's a little annoying to be going, boing, 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 boing. Anyway. Okay, next item. Have we won? Well, let's hope. Is Windows now an also ran? Now to get a little background on this, you got to understand something. Mark Shuttleworth, who is the founder of Canonical, I think I may have said that almost right, so I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. He, long ago, when he started the Ubuntu project for a distro of Linux, he said, we're going to have a bug list, and the very first bug in the bug list is Microsoft has a majority market share. In other words, he said, I want to take down Microsoft. This week, Mark Shuttleworth went way out on a limb. As the article says, he had a lot of chutzpah. He went out on a limb and he said that we are retiring bug 1. In other words, he has proclaimed that bug closed. Microsoft no longer has a majority market share. Now you're going, what? Here's the thing. He's cheating just a little. He's saying that all the Android phones out there, and since Android is based on Linux, yes, all of those Android phones, there's more of those than there are Microsoft Windows phones. And if you take all of those and add all those to the Windows desktops and Linux desktops, and you look at it, that Microsoft has lost. Okay? Yeah. I'm not sure that actually counts, guys. So let's do our best to go ahead and convert over to Linux desktops and prove our buddy Mark Shuttleworth right, even though he's a little premature. But more power to him. I'm thinking that way, even if it's not quite so yet. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. There's a hot new NVIDIA GPU series that has been announced, the GTX 700M series. And it's got lots of graphical goodness. Yes. And I'm looking forward to having a video card based on said cool GPU, graphical processing unit. Yes. So coolness. I like NVIDIA. NVIDIA cards are awesome. And they've got this new thing. Has a really impressive gain in potential performance with the GTX 700M series. The core clocks are up across the board. Memory clocks even more so. And NVIDIA is bringing GPU Boost 2.0 to the table with all these parts to allow us as much as 15% higher clocks during gaming. And the author here says, unfortunately, I don't quite have all the benchmark results available yet for the 780M to compare against the outgoing 680M, but you'll be able to see them in a full review in not too long from this point. And that is with AnandTech. AnandTech. The website. So cool. So look for new GPU-based, NVIDIA-based graphical cards coming out that will be awesome. Okay, last item for this week. Xbox One was announced, as you already know. And Microsoft announced Xbox One with a few new features, including one that's making people go, Actually, it's making people do more than go, Let me tell you about this feature. Modus announced this week that Xbox One's most disturbing feature is this. The Xbox One's kinetic sensor has a lot of disturbing ideas going for it if you ask the general public, but not if you ask Microsoft. It can track every move in your living room. Dude. And it plans to reward you with achievements for sitting through commercials. More ominously, the Kinect may be configured to track the viewing behaviors of multiple users. This means that Microsoft will be gathering data about everyone that uses your Kinect to watch television or movies. That's terrible. Sitting through commercials will be an avatar customization, digital gifts, Xbox points. But are these perks really worth the invasion of privacy the Kinect poses? Time will tell if these features make it into the final build of the Xbox One. What? Talk about Big Brother. Microsoft spying on people. It's evil, I tell you. But then they're the evil empire. So what are you going to do? They just are what they are, and they is what they is. You know what I'm saying? I know that wasn't correct English, but it gets the point across. So, anyway, don't forget the new website feature. Don't forget that we're now on Stitcher. Don't forget a lot of other stuff. Okay, so, that being said, it's time for the doctor to be out of here. Yeah. Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of drbillbailey.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.